Welcome back to another video. This is a video that I'm really excited to be doing because it is my first session back self-coaching and I'm just in a really good mood today. I'm really excited to get back into my own kind of style of programming. Had a really good conversation with Lewis, my coach that I've just left. And he kind of went through things that he thought would be really good to implement, kind of changes that he was planning on making, which we'd already kind of spoken about at the English. And I think I mentioned in the previous video where I announced that I was going back to self-coaching, like he and I were pretty aligned with what I needed to kind of get my strength back up to where we know it should be. And yeah, we didn't get the chance to work on that together just because of back-to-back competitions, aggressive deficits and things like that. So it was nice getting his input on kind of what he thought I kind of needed. I had already written up the program, but like I went through and to be honest, pretty much everything he said was already in it. So that's also just like a nice thing to know going into this. But basically, my structure of my week has changed quite a lot. One thing that I already feel a massive benefit from is I've rearranged my days so that the only day I need to go to the commercial gym is a Sunday. And the reason I've done that is because going once a week has been great. Only having to go there once a week, being able to do everything else at home has been fantastic and definitely relieved a lot of like general stress around fitting training in, just from not having, like obviously I have the privilege of being able to train at home, not then having to time, also driving to the gym, getting everything fit, like fitting everything in. Just gives me that little bit more flexibility and just like better and easier time management. So the reason I've moved that to a Sunday is because weekends I generally have more time and I'm a lot better now at doing like my programming and stuff during the week. So actually Saturdays and Sundays are relatively quiet work days for me. I'll often have calls and stuff on the weekend. I'll often book podcasts for the weekend. But it just, it's easier to fit in, right? And also the gym will be quieter, which is another big thing for me, like not having to wait for kit, being able to kind of get on things pretty much straight away will be really good. They also have saunas there, which I would like to start actually using and doing a little bit more for like general recovery. But also the good thing about using a sauna is it will just be time for me to sit and just kind of be with my own thoughts and decompress. So that's something else I'm kind of planning on putting in. But just to kind of break down the structure of my week now. So overall exposures aren't really changing. Frequency throughout the week, we've got 2 times squat, 4 times bench press. I was doing 3 times the last couple of blocks with Lewis, but I've gone back to 4, which we implemented, I think, post-British, because I actually think it was better for me. I think my bench just kind of fell off a little bit at the start of the year in my last couple of comps for various reasons, but I am going back to 4 times a week of benching and deadlifting twice a week. I'll be doing sumo on both sessions, but I'll also be doing some conventional back-offs on my secondary day. I'm tempted to potentially do a full conventional day and a full sumo day down the line, but we'll just kind of wait and see how I find this first 3-week block back. So one big change I'm making is I think I am strongest with 3-week blocks. Like when I've peaked into comps with 2 3-week blocks, which I did for British 2024, which was the last comp that I was really proud of, it works really well kind of doing a slightly lighter 3-week block into a heavier 3-week block for my peak. And I kind of want to trial that with my training throughout the year. And it lines up literally perfectly with British if I do decide to do that in December. I'm not set on competing in December. I'm going to be honest. I think, and this is something Lewis also said to me and my nutrition coach Hannah said to me, I already know myself as well. I need a break from competing. British is like nearly 6 months away, or 6 months away, I think, pretty much 6 months to this week. So it's plenty of time for me to decompress and just kind of find my love of training, or not love of training, because I have been enjoying training, but kind of find my confidence back as a lifter and an athlete. But I'm not set in stone on doing it. We're going to just kind of see, or I'm just going to see how things go and take it like a block at a time and decide nearer the time whether or not I want to do it. My total from All England will be more than enough to qualify, so I'm not stressed about that anyway. So we will kind of see. But this first 3 weeks back, so essentially I'm going to be doing 6-week blocks. They're going to be kind of chunked into 2 3-week blocks, lighter 3 weeks, heavier 3 weeks type thing, which will make more sense, obviously, as I get into them and I show you guys what I'm doing. But this first 3 weeks is literally just a gradual reintroduction to my style of training, a new weekly structure to see if I enjoy it, new movements that I've not done for a long time. We haven't really had any lower body accessories because of my hamstring issue in a while. So I'm going to slowly introduce some of those back in as well and just kind of play around with the structure over these first 3 weeks without pushing load on kind of anything. So the RPs and stuff are pretty low. Generally, when I coach myself, or like when I coached myself previously, I always just had set loads. And I am kind of going to go back to that. But obviously, there's always going to be room to adjust the load depending on how I feel. But it'll be more like a load cap type thing. This first week, though, is going to be so light and sub-max just to get me used to doing a little bit more rep work on like squats in particular. But also just to kind of ease me back in after like a little bit of burnout and stuff from the previous competitions. So new structure of my week. So I'm training Tuesdays, which is today. So I've got secondary squats, secondary bench press, and some Hatfield squats, which I trialed on Sunday. If you've watched the last video, just going to take those incredibly light today and figure those out. And then I've also just got some upper body accessories, just like really simple movements, just like isolation work. Day 2, which is a Wednesday, I have got my lightest bench day of the week. I'm literally just going to start off with like a 3x5, super light at like 85 kilos, and just kind of go from there. When I was doing my 4th bench day with Lewis, that's exactly what we did. I think we ended up taking it up to like 90 every single week, and it was just a set load every single week. But actually, when it was 85, it seemed to show up a little bit better. So I'm just going to reintroduce it with a nice light 85 kilos, 3x5 every week for now, and just see how that goes. I've then also got my secondary deadlifts. So I've got sumo deadlifts and conventional deadlifts as a back off. And then I've just got some lower body movements, some movements I've not done for a while, which I'll kind of talk through as I get to Wednesday's session. I don't know how I'm going to split my videos up this week either, because I'm now training 5 days a week, and I don't want to obviously put 5 videos out to do 1 video per session. So we'll kind of see, but I think this video will be day 1 and day 2, so Tuesday, Wednesday. So I'll kind of show you as we go through and talk through things. Fridays are my super light, like priming bench day, I would call it. I've got tempo bench press, which I've done for ages. Lewis, I think, programmed it for me, but I think I was doing that before anyway. Doing that 2 days before my primary bench essentially has just made my primary bench feel really good and consistent. And I think tempo bench is a movement that most people get a lot out of, just from like reinforcing positioning. As soon as you stop using leg drive on tempo bench, like you can tell it's not very forgiving. So I've just got ascending triples on tempo bench on a Friday, and then some upper movements, but that'll be a really short, like quick, easy session to get through. Saturday is day 4. So I'm going to be training 3 days back to back, which is the only thing that I'm kind of intrigued to see how I find. But because Friday session is so short, it should be fine. Saturday, so I've split up my weekend. Saturday is going to be primary squats, primary deadlift, and then some lower body movements. And then Sunday is going to be primary bench and going to the gym, doing my upper movements, machines, dumbbell work that I won't do at home. And then I'm also going to do some form of cardio every single week as well. Like nothing crazy. I like the idea of maybe doing like some sprints on the rowing machine or something along those lines. I used to really enjoy doing those. Even just like some cross trainer, just gentle 20-minute steady state, something like that. Just some form of cardio on a Sunday just to kind of get me moving. And then I'm also going to do probably just some like sauna or something for recovery as well. But I'll see. It'll depend what time we end up going, what I end up going on a Sunday. But I'm really looking forward to this new structure. I think not having a single SBD day will like mentally help me feel a bit calmer about fitting training in, being able to train at home 4 out of the 5 days as well. And the only day I go to the gym being a Sunday, when I have a bit more freedom and time and flexibility anyway. And also our commercial gym is 24 hours, so I can literally go at any time. But none of my sessions, because they're not SBD days, should actually take me that long. I think the longest one is actually probably going to be today's, but I still don't think it will take me very long, because the accessory movements, once I've done my Hatfield squats, it's literally just a little bit of like shoulder pump, some biceps, some triceps. Like it's a super quick kind of easy thing to just kind of get through. It's just 2 sets on each thing. So I'm really looking forward to trialing this. I think playing around with my structure of the week, even though I'm keeping like exposures the same, like frequency the same and stuff, I think it's going to work better for me being like this, and I'm quite excited to try it. And the fact that I'm doing like a really light 3-week kind of intro block into it just allows me to then play around with it before I then kind of commit to my first like 6-week block, even though obviously I can still make changes as needed. But I'm quite looking forward to it. I think it's going to be fun. I think my body is healthy enough to really start kind of pushing it again in terms of like the lower accessories that I've not been doing either. Hamstring issue after Sunday session was like a little bit tender, but not bad at all. My back, which flared up last week, about a week and a half ago, I mentioned it in the last video, is feeling pretty good today. And considering I've had a few really busy work days. Like I think, don't want to jinx it, I think today was the last of my really busy work days. Like catching up on things from Poland. So I now should be back into like a normal routine. I don't want to jinx myself by saying that, but I should be. Which just means that I should be able to like fit things in pretty easily, and also not be sitting at my desk quite as long each day for long stints. But obviously we'll just see what happens with that. But my back is definitely feeling a bit better today. So hoping that it just continues to kind of improve now and I don't do anything to upset it. And because everything is super light, especially this week with this entire 3-week intro block back, I should be good. Like I'd be surprised if I'm not. Also did have my nutrition check-in yesterday with my coach, Hannah. So Hannah is still doing my nutrition. I mentioned in the previous video, like I need that accountability. Like I find the accountability for nutrition super, super helpful. And just having someone there to just kind of check in with me every week and make sure that I'm like fueling myself properly. It's just really, really helpful for me. And we've essentially agreed that I need to kind of reverse diet and just basically reverse my diet fatigue, is I think what we've kind of just said. So she set my calories at like 2,400. She did say that she doesn't even care if I don't track for this week or even next week, and I just take a bit of a break from like mentally feeling like there's any kind of like stress on my diet, like don't need to worry about making things optimal and that sort of thing. But I will say, quite surprisingly, I actually feel quite excited to kind of continue fueling as well as possible. I don't feel like I'm being pulled towards like junk food and stuff. Like, don't get me wrong, the last like 4 days since comp, like my diet's not been perfect at all. Like we got a takeaway on Saturday, it was a Greek takeaway, but normally I would eat that all in like 2 meals. I'd have it on that evening and then like the next day I'd finish it off for lunch. But it literally took me like 3 days to get through all of it. I've not been craving anything super sweet or anything. Like I've just kind of, to be honest, I've not really had much of an appetite, which is a bit strange for me. But I think that's probably a good thing. And I do kind of feel ready to kind of make things as optimal as possible. And I think part of that is because I'm going back to self-coaching. Obviously, I want to give myself the best kind of chance possible and almost like prove that I'm making the right choice by doing this. So I kind of feel ready to kind of get things back pretty locked in. So today was my first day back tracking. I think I've tracked like roughly 2,600 calories. But she's essentially said to me 2,400 is like roughly where we want me to be, but she doesn't want me to be any lower than that. Just because my body is obviously just like resistant to dropping right now. Like my body is craving more food. And we think that's also why the gut cut, especially the last one, wasn't super effective. So I'm looking forward to fueling my body again, not feeling like I'm in a deficit. And just, yeah, we've got so much time until British. This is the first time as well. Like I haven't weighed myself since comp, but I don't feel super stressed about what I've gained from like a few days of not tracking and just overeating a little bit, which is also a weird thing for me because that is something that even though I know better than to worry about it, you know, growing up with diet culture, that is still something that I still kind of get in my head about a little bit as I kind of get past competitions. But this time I definitely feel a lot better about that. And I think knowing that I've got so much time, it's not really anything that's stressing me out. So yeah, that was a lot of talking, but updates, yeah, I'll show you guys the actual training and stuff that I'm doing obviously as the week goes on in the future videos and stuff. But yeah, it's nothing, the structure of my week has definitely changed. Obviously, frequency is staying the same apart from going back to 4 days a week bench, but we were doing that up until I think one block out of, like, I think we might have only changed that for bench wells. I think we were doing 4 days into English, but I'm not sure off the top of my head. But like the actual plan itself hasn't really changed. Like today's bench is still my 3 count. I think I've got either a triple or a double into a single. Then I've got some last and press after. Like the overall structure of what I'm doing isn't super different other than more accessory work, slightly higher rep work and stuff like that. But I'm really excited to see how this new layout is for me. Like I think it's going to be really good. And the fact that I'm so excited to train is a good sign. And I don't feel stressed at all about what time I'm training. Like I feel like because I'm not going anywhere literally all week to train, I'm training at home apart from a Sunday. I just have this calmness, which is lovely. Anyway, I'm going to stop talking and I'm going to get the session underway.
Okay. I see across the room, X marked on the spot, everybody tryna zoom. This is casual, another night with the wolves, but I should be dealing with them, she's a damn professional. Making plays for, don't need to be told, yeah she knows. Got these fellas down bad and everybody else mad. Adrenaline rushing, leaving them in the dust, now they converting the stands. The world is in her hands now, she's living in my head rent free. Burning through my long-term memory. Everybody racing in a Grand Prix. They know if they don't take a chance now, gonna stay woke, no sleep. Run it back real slow, is that a wing? She's cold as ice, sugar-coated lies with the honey trap eyes. She's dangerous. She's dancing with intention. She's got everyone's attention. She knows she's dangerous. They wanna get a number on a roulette. Yeah, tryna find an opening. Roll the dice, cold sweat running down my neck. She be on the next victim. Get caught in a web. Got these fellas spending all they got left. She be keeping the score like a follow ratio. Got these fellas praying to the Lord for a glimpse of any hope. She bad, she broke, straight unpredictable, straight irresistible. She got me in a slow. She's living in my head rent free. Burning through my long-term memory. Everybody racing in a Grand Prix. They know if they don't take a chance now, finna stay woke, no sleep. Run it back real slow, is that a wing? She's cold as ice, sugar-coated lies with the honey trap eyes. She's dangerous. She's dancing with intention. She's got everyone's attention. She's dangerous. They want and trying their luck. Trying their luck. They really wanna be the one she loves, but there she goes breaking all of these hearts. Can't seem to stay away from her. She's dangerous. She's dancing with intention. She's got everyone's attention. She knows she's
Okay, so very happy, really enjoyed the whole session. I think the layout of today is pretty good. With my squats, obviously everything across the board, squats, bench and Hatfield squats was super, super light today. And they're going to be this whole block, like especially this first week is kind of just figuring out the actual structure of the week, making sure that I'm enjoying the structure of each session. Time-wise, it all works okay. And just making sure that I'm kind of starting to adjust to the volume that I'm prescribing myself, because the volume is going to like gradually increase and stuff. So overall, really happy with like day one, really enjoyed the session. It did not take me very long. Obviously it being lighter meant it was quicker anyway. But squats felt good. After my high bar set of 7 at 120, I then did 2x7 at 110, just to get more skill practice in at a lighter load, still get some volume in, kind of push the needle forward, but allowing myself to really focus on solid execution and like even foot pressure and stuff as well, especially with like recovering from the hamstring issue and stuff. Like it's very easy when things are like a little bit too heavy that you kind of compensate, lean a little bit, like maybe leaning me too much on my right leg rather than my left leg, whereas having those lighter loads in there allows me to kind of just make sure that everything is even, everything is moving well, foot pressure is even, that sort of thing, and just getting really good quality movement in essentially. So I'm going to keep doing that pattern of heavier set of 7 and then lighter sets of 7. And I think that's going to work really well for me with high bar. And then bench was fine. I don't really have too much to say on bench. Like similar reasoning, I did a set of 6 Larsen press and then I did 2x6 at 77.5 as well. So 10 kilos off and just did 2 lighter sets of 6, just again, focusing on really solid execution, getting some additional volume in, just kind of keeping that work in there, but also just pushing that needle forward overall. So happy with that. And then Hatfield was, to be fair, Hatfield squats felt way better than when I trialed them on Sunday. I think it's just going to take me a couple of weeks to really get used to them. Like I only went up to 60 kilos, I did a set of 50 and then I did a set of 60. Even the difference between those two sets, to be fair, the set of 50, I caught the rack nearly every single rep and it was just terribly done. But then the set of 60 felt pretty good. I'm definitely able to push that a lot more. And Hatfield squats are something that people have been pushing really, really heavy. And essentially the logic behind putting those in is to give me some kind of like leg press-esque movement that's not comp squatting or high bar squatting and that's a little bit less specific, that allows me to really just push and kind of build that strength back up in my legs without having to go to the gym, essentially. Because originally it was going to be like a leg press or a pendulum squat, bringing that back in. But by doing Hatfield, it essentially is a little bit more comp specific, still not being too comp specific. Should have better quality, like should have better carryover because it is more specific to a comp squat. Like it's a little bit more similar than like a machine would be. But it also just allows me to really push and like build that strength back up in my legs. I've not been able to do with my hamstring issue. So yeah, that's the logic behind it. They felt good. People have been really going heavy on them. I did 60 kilo, well, technically 67s. I think the bar weighs 27.5. But anyway, there is definitely scope for me to go a lot heavier on them. I'm going to keep doing them sleeveless and probably beltless, although I did get a bit of a back pump doing them / after. Nothing bad, nothing that I'm worried about. I think it's just as I get used to the new movement, and that's just something I'm going to kind of adjust to. My body's just not used to. So not really worrying about that too much, but I think there's something that will definitely help my squat. Doing them sleeveless as well is basically because I've always been someone that does all of my leg accessories sleeveless. The only thing I wear sleeves for and have ever worn sleeves for is squatting. So basically with rigs, you know, they obviously provide quite a lot of support out the hole. And I think where I've had such good carryover from doing like heavy leg press or pendulum squat sleeveless is because it's just strengthened me out of the hole that much more, that then that with the assistance of the rigs just really helps my squat kind of skyrocket. So basically needed something in, and I think knee health as well is something that since taking out my leg accessories for my hamstring issue, my knee health has not felt great. So I needed something in to kind of help that. And I think doing Hatfield sleeveless, at least for now, I've still got my SBD softer sleeves, but to be honest, I don't really want to put them on when I'm sweaty. And yeah, I'm not going to do them in rigs either, because I just think the whole, like a big part of me doing the Hatfield is also just kind of health and just that sort of thing. I don't need to necessarily load up super heavy. Obviously I still want to push them, but that's kind of where my logic is at. So at the moment, I'm going to just do them sleeveless, probably beltless as well, but we'll kind of see how my back feels doing them. But yeah, and then it's just some upper accessories just with my dumbbells, the adjustable dumbbells that I've got, nothing crazy, just got a bit of an arm pump essentially. And I really enjoyed it. It did not take me very long. I'm feeling good. I'm feeling really glad I don't have to go to the gym now until Sunday. Like, it's such a relief to just be able to be at home and train at home and just kind of, like, I literally put a pasta bake in the oven halfway through my session. So that's going to be done as soon as I walk in the front door or like back in the door. So it's just nice. It's little luxuries. Anyway, wrap up the first session. Really happy with it. To be honest, I'm probably going to cut the video here because otherwise it'll be a really long video with tomorrow's session. So in the next video, I will show you day 2. But if you've made it to the end, thank you very much. I really appreciate it. I'll keep breaking down my days of training as the week goes on, possibly into next week as well, depending on how long these videos end up being. But really enjoyed the first day. I think splitting SBD up and not doing like an actual SBD session during the week or at all is probably the right move for me, at least for now, just mentally, just to spread things out. Because like my workload and stuff, like, I'm so happy saying this, like my inquiries over the last couple of months have really taken off, and I'm just in a position where I'm like super, super grateful. But obviously that just means my schedule and stuff's a little bit busier. So just at the moment, while I'm kind of figuring out my schedule, it's nice just having 5 shorter sessions rather than fitting in those longer ones, because it means I can just keep on top of my workload and just fit things in a lot easier, basically. So really happy with that decision as well. Anyway, let's wrap the video up here. Thank you very much. If you've made it to the end, I really appreciate it. Please be sure to leave a like, comment, and subscribe. And I'll see you in a few days for the next one.